A few days after the Commission on College Basketball issued its report and recommended rule changes to the NCAA, I turned on the television and was greeted with the umpteen thousandth ad in the campaign for one of Indiana's seats in the U.S. Senate, boasting the candidate in question would assure America builds the wall along the Mexico border. Suddenly, it hit me. College hoops recruiting scandal. AAU team director cooperating with feds. One and done is college basketball's version of the wall. The NBA's age limit rule is a convenient target for the game's critics, and was the one the Rice Commission chose, employing no respect for logic or facts, as the focal point for its plan to address the issues it was assembled to confront in the sport. The Commission threatened that if the NBA does not bend to its wishes regarding the one-and-done rule, it will reassemble and suggest other changes, including possibly freshman ineligibility. This is not a plausible solution to a real problem. It's not even something the NCAA can implement. It is something that can be sold. One and done has played a significant role in corrupting and destabilizing college basketball, the report said, even though the majority of evidence presented to date in the Justice Department case consists of incidents involving athletes who remained in NCAA basketball for multiple seasons and, in some cases, were not that highly regarded when being recruited by colleges. This merely was the most blatant example of the Rice Commission being counterintuitive or downright contradictory, and the NCAA hierarchy will regret its haste to act on this poorly conceived series of recommendations. Decursi, Rice Commission's report. No recipe for successful change. Among the most obvious inconsistencies, summer basketball. The Commission recommended the construction of a series of camps that would be operated jointly by the NBA, its Players Association, USA Basketball and the NCAA. According to Rice, these regional camps would be the only ones that NCAA coaches attend in that crucial recruiting month. The language of her statement, and of the executive summary included in the report, and the report itself, is astoundingly nebulous and could provide some cover for the NCAA as it endeavors to turn the report into policy over the next few months. However, if adopted as Rice suggested in her remarks, this plan would accomplish nothing but to get the NCAA sued on a variety of fronts. What the Commission fails to consider is there is currently no barrier to entry for a prospective college basketball player to be scouted in the July evaluation period by one or more college basketball coaches. All he must do is get on a team that competes in a certified event, there were more than 100 last July, and get into the game. If the NCAA runs regional camps that are the only evaluation venues, do they take all interested parties? That'd be kinda tough. There were more than 550,000 high school basketball players in 2017. More, think Duke, Kentucky can't win with freshmen? They already are. They'll have to draw the line somewhere, then. And when that wall is built, the players on the outside who do not attend the camps and afterward do not receive Division I scholarships will almost certainly wind up forming a class action lawsuit. That's not the only possible liability for the NCAA, though. At Nike's EYBL event Saturday in Westfield, I spoke with someone who operated high-level basketball camps for 3 decades and has been party to legal action against the NCAA in the past. He mentioned 2 other fronts that could be highly problematic. The first is for July event operators for whom NCAA coach evaluation has become one of the principal attractions for participating teams and players. By establishing a series of criteria for certification, the NCAA has allowed the coach's presence to become ingrained into the operators' business models. To withdraw that permission without any suggestion or evidence of misconduct on the operator's part would likely lead them to sue, as well. Birdsong, where will Jordan Brown, the nation's top uncommitted big man, sign? If the NCAA were to turn to USA Basketball for assistance in developing or operating the summer camps, well, there's a catch. USA Basketball gets a significant portion of its operating income from its apparel sponsor, Nike. That would mean one particular apparel company would still be involved in the summer space while the others were held at a distance from the top 2,500 players or so for a crucial period. Are we really to believe those companies would countenance this? Oh, and one more thing, lots of events choose to operate outside the NCAA-approved evaluation period. If the colleges remove their scouts from all non-scholastic basketball competition, many events will continue and the scene will become entirely unregulated. Agents. The report includes nearly 2 full pages on allowing basketball players to have access to agent advice as they evaluate their professional basketball potential. But not a word is mentioned about allowing those athletes to accept loans or gifts from an agency. This is beyond naive. There is marginal value to allowing athletes to engage with agents in ascertaining their professional prospects. Agents are not without an agenda in this. They want to sign clients. Some want to sign as many as possible, as early as possible, in order to hedge their bets that one or a few make it big. More, how Penny Hardaway changed Memphis' future, brought excitement to program. There is an astonishing amount of money to be made as an NBA agent. The standard agent's cut of a mid-level exception this past season was $336,000. The standard agent's cut of the biggest contract in the league is more than $2 million annually. As a result, the incentive for agents to land clients is extreme. Allowing players to make nice with agents without allowing agents to lock in agreements that are firmed up with financial arrangements means the practice of under-the-table loans or gifts is unlikely to subside. If an athlete could sign agreements that stipulate any money loaned during his college career would not need to be repaid if the player failed to make the NBA, for instance, there might be some mitigation of this practice. At the very least, it could be brought into the open and legitimized. Instead, the Commission opted for a certification process that will have little impact on the nefarious aspects of agency recruitment. One and done. Even if the NBA foolishly chooses to abandon its age limit rule, a rule that has contributed to the league's rapidly ascending popularity and wealth, the practice of players arriving on campus, playing a single season of college basketball and then entering the NBA draft will not disappear. It might not even diminish. One of the Commission's few acceptable moves was to declare a lack of interest in the baseball rule that ostensibly binds players to campus for multiple seasons if they choose not to enter the sport professionally out of high school. Rice mentioned that players who emerged as potential pros and were barred from the professional league could become disgruntled and magnets for corrupt money. But what the Commission seems not to understand is that if, say, the top 10 players in a given high school class were to advance to the NBA draft, no 11 would then become the top player, still a target for colleges willing to break the rules and for agents seeking potentially lucrative clients. DeCourcy, new FBI investigation charges against Adidas exec show repairing college basketball no-shoe in the 5 classes between 2013 to 17, 10 players ranked between 11 and 20th became one-and-dones, 5 became NCAA champions and 2 became All-Americans. The Commission isn't accomplishing anything by pushing for an end to the draft age limit other than moving the target. In assailing one and done, the Commission is engaging in the same sort of vacant political rhetoric as those who suggest addressing the very real problem of undocumented immigration by proposing the construction of a physical barrier that might cost nearly $70 billion, and that's not including maintenance costs. The Commission on College Basketball's report took nearly 7 months to research and compile. It ought to have been more sophisticated than a 30-second political campaign spot.